Well, welcome back, everyone. Now to the fun time of the evening. First, I want to start out by congratulating today's Dairy Farmer Cash Giveaway winner, Mary Geezy from Table Rock Farms in Alma Center. A big thank you to Feed Components for sponsoring that. A member of our DBA team will be in contact with you, Mary. I'd like to give another thank you to today's daily sponsor, Compeer Financial, and to Dairy Farmers of Wisconsin for generously sponsoring today's happy hour. Let's take a look at what Pam and Charlie have in store for us today.
A duck jacket without a wedge of cheese? Well, that's like a fishing pole without a hook.
To my duck jacket. What? Hey, no, hey, how you doing there, Josh?
Today we're making supper club cocktails. Folks, there's one thing all these drinks got in common, and that's Wisconsin cows. In honor of Dairy Month, I got the Pam Jahnke riding shotgun.
Some people call you the Oprah of farm broadcasting. You get a cow, and you get a cow.
That's right.
All right, take the new oil and plug her back in, and that's how you farm. Is that about right or no?
I don't know.
I can't believe they let me down here. Keep her moving. Oh my God!
Well, I scoured Craigslist, okay? I had to find something that says broadcasting and farm, okay? And I found it.
Dairy farmers and the cows have been working hard to keep us fed, so let's support them by buying from your local Wisconsin dairy farmer.
I hope this was the best minute of your life. As always, go Packers and go on, say it. I won't tell your mom. The Bears.
Geez Louise, have a little problem with technology on this thing. I tell you what, you guys are in for a real treat. We've got Pam Jahnke and Charlie Behrens joining us for this fun part of the evening, the social hour. Welcome to it. Little bit of intro on these guys. Does Pam really need an intro? I think all of us listen to her at some point in the day. Always good to have Pam. Pam, the farm babe of Wisconsin. All sorts of great information on everything agriculture in the state. A great advocate for dairy. A great advocate for Wisconsin. Certainly, her reputation precedes her. Now, this Charlie Behrens fella, kind of new to us. And, you know, just looking over his rap sheet here, he's got a lot of stuff going for him. First, he's a Wisconsin native. Raise your glasses to that. Of course, he's made his career in the news and media space. Started work on the MTV. The MTV, what is that thing? Oh my. Anyway, Charlie has done a number of different anchoring and host jobs. He's worked his way up through a lot of different companies, reporting the news and having some fun along the way. Oh my gosh, is there anything this guy hasn't done? Just looking at some of his most recent stuff here, the Manitowoc Minute scored a lot of views. Lots of people watching that thing. Cripes almighty. So as we dive into this, I'm going to turn over the mic here, and we're going to keep her moving. And you guys pour yourself a drink, not from the bubbler, and have some fun with tonight's show.
Does this thing work, Mike, or no?
Yeah, I think so. You got a clicker?
Yeah, no, I got the clicker, but sometimes the batteries don't do so good. Pam, what's going on?
Boys, 5 o'clock somewhere, Mikey. Your Prost, Slancha. Way to go. Nice.
Mike, you did a heck of a job on that intro. I just want to tell you that.
Should have had a grasshopper.
You know, you go to enough fish fries and you get a lot. That's good for your brain. It helps you a lot, you know.
Yeah, it's like WD-40 for your brain.
Yep. And that's why Charlie was 10 minutes late for the check-in here.
Pam, sorry. Can you check my back? It hurts. I think someone ran it over with a bus. Okay. Jeez Louise. I was a little late. Yes. But you know, it wasn't because I don't love you, because you know I do. Okay? Yeah.
I was going to say,
my heart.
The commute was comfortable for you, though. That's the way it is with this, hey? So.
I don't even have an excuse.
Well, Mike, it's good to. Thanks for the introduction. Thanks for giving us this opportunity to verbally wrestle with one another again, long distance. And I'm glad to be a part of the happy hour, although it sure isn't the same by yourself, in my case, in the basement, as it would be if we were all getting together at one of the fine Dane County facilities that normally host Dairy Strong. So I appreciate you having us, and appreciate Charlie taking some time. So the goal of this, folks, if you're just joining us, and again, I want to welcome everybody to Dairy Strong 2021. And what way, shape, and form you're enjoying it. Again, my pleasure to be your host, so to speak. Toast, enjoy. You're in the comfort of your own home, I'm guessing. So what we're going to do here is talk a little bit with Charlie about some of his experiences with Wisconsin dairy farmers. Now, Dairy Farmers of Wisconsin, as you saw on the video screen, started working with him in 2018. Dude, I got to ask you, now you and I have gotten a chance to work together on a couple different projects, but when you're trying to be an up-and-comer, you're going to be the young comedic stud, so to speak. So when Dairy Farmers of Wisconsin came to you and said, "Hey, dude, we've got a deal for you," what was your initial reaction to that? What did you think?
Well, my initial reaction was, now look, Pam, I don't want to flex here or anything, but I've been eating cheese since before I could eat solid food. Okay, I choked on it actually. Initially, that was my first trip to the hospital. I was actually less than a year, I think. But I saw that cheese and I went for it right when I was starting to crawl. Someone dropped cheese, better than a penny. But yeah, it's not supposed to, go down that way. So anyway, that was my first trip to the hospital, and I'm proud of that. So when the dairy farmers approached me and they said, do you want to do some stuff with dairy farmers and all that, I was on board. Let's just put it that way. So and there we did a lot of stuff. It was a lot of fun. It's been a lot of fun. Hope to do more.
It sure doesn't seem like you have to work very hard coming up with content surrounding the industry.
No, that's the nice thing about dairy farmers is it's like an onion. You peel off one layer and there's about 1 million underneath. There's so many different things. There's so many different angles you can go after, and Wisconsin really keeps it very interesting. There's all like there's so many different cheeses. Okay, I don't even know where to begin, and so like you could do a bit on every cheese. Maybe a cheese connoisseur bit. Maybe we got to do that yet. I don't know. And then pairing it, that's a whole other thing.
Yeah, it would definitely be a geographic adventure to get you to all those places. We'd spend a lot of time in Greene County. It could be fun. You talk about peeling an onion, though. It's one thing to talk about it from a retail showcase when you're working with a Wisconsin cheesemaker or something like that. But as you could see, folks, by his video, then you actually did go out to the farm. Now, come clean. Had you had a lot of face-to-face, boot-to-boot contact with an honest working farm?
Not in any real capacity. I will say that as a kid, I've been working. My first job was in a yarn house. Okay, I sorted yarn, and then I shut up, Pam. Don't laugh. Okay. Don't laugh. And then I was mowing the lawn, and then I was doing, a bunch of yard work. Okay. And from those very humble, so that was when I was 11 or so. So from there, I learned how to sort yarn. Did I mention that? But
Yeah,
from those things, I learned how to do some work that was useful. Friend of the family had a farm which we worked on, but not often, not much. Usually, I was a lawn mowing man myself, so I mowed a lot of lawns, had a push mower and whatnot. But no, I grew up in the suburbs, so I'm not going to sit here and tell you I knew what I was doing in pretty much any capacity. But I'm good with a wheelbarrow, okay, and I'm good
in
with
many verbally and physically.
Yeah, and I'm really good at sorting yarn, so I can do a lot of things, Pam. I'm a jack of all trades, master of BS.
Feel free to pull up any of your yarn work as we carry on this conversation. Keeps it lively.
It's real easy. You look at the label and you says, okay, this goes here or no, and then it's no, and then it's yes. Yeah, I was just reading labels. I knew how to read. I was 11, Pam. Also, I will say this, and I don't know if this counts as any form of farming, but I picked a bunch of dandelions from her back field. This woman I worked for, and I made dandelion wine. Okay.
Well,
I was 12 at that point, so
keep that happy hour theme going with the dandelion wine. Nice,
yeah, that's
nice.
supposed to be good for you too.
Yeah, right. That cleans it all up. So when you did go out to the farm, what was your first impression? Because I'm guessing you had some idea of what dairy farms look like or how it operated, but then you got there, because I thought it was a kick watching your video. You looked pseudo intimidated by those calves and how aggressively they were getting after your fingers and your lapel. It's a learning experience, baby. I get it.
Pam, listen, I'm not going to sit here and tell you that I've had that experience with a lot of calves before that moment in time, or,
animals in general
or whatnot. Okay. I'm not going to sit here and tell you I'm a pro at getting my fingers sucked by all those animals. Okay. I'm not going to lie to you, but it was nice. Okay. And they embraced me, and I feel like I embraced them. I fed one a bottle, and I thought that was real nice of me. And then I thought that we had a connection, but then as soon as someone else took the bottle, that wasn't there no more. So
that's kind of like this Dairy Strong crowd. Whoever's got the bottle is the favorite. So just keep that in mind.
Why that makes sense.
But it's got to have been a learning experience for you to have those conversations with the farmers at the farm. You obviously make it fun for non-farm people to engage in what we take for granted every day.
Yeah, I think that's been really interesting. I guess my expertise in dairy is as a consumer. That would be it. But it's been fun to learn a lot about the actual process of farming and then try and convey that in a way that other people like me will understand, and just find so many different niches in the dairy industry has been cool. I mean, I just remember when we went to Crave Brothers and saw how they used the manure in and that they create enough power to get the cheese factory and then a bunch of homes in the surrounding area. So I thought that was really cool. There are a lot of innovative things happening in the dairy industry, and that was great to see. And then there's just, again, so many niches, so many farmers, getting very specific with what their product is. And so that's cool. And there's so much passion behind it too. And then, it's just, I got the chance to sit down and do like some deeper conversations. Well, we sat down, we did the podcast, and just all sorts of topics, everything from the very funny to the very serious.
Right.
And it's just been it's been a great journey. So
for people that haven't had a chance, Charlie's got a Cripes Cast podcast that you can sign up for, and it wasn't part of the video vignette, but Charlie also has been thinking about dairy farmers during this stressful time. You were reaching out and trying to help people understand the stress that a lot of dairy farms were going through, as safety would allow you to do.
Yeah, we got we got a big cow, a big cardboard cow, and put it between us. And we went to, you know, a few different farms and just talked about, you know, what it's like. Farming and in the past couple of years, it's been tough between, you know, the tariffs and COVID and everything, and just seeing where everybody's at. And had a good conversation with Ditz down in Greene County. And, you know, we talked about just the mental health perspective of that. And that was inspired by my conversation with you, Pam. So thanks for doing that. But, and he said, and I've also had just a bunch of people reach out to say that they really enjoyed that conversation. Now, Ditz did most of the talking there, but it in a good way. I don't know anything about it, so I was doing mostly listening. But he's got a lot of great insight onto that, and he's lived a lot of it and experienced it. And I think there are more people out there, you know, interested in hearing about those because they're experiencing the same thing themselves.
You know, I do want to remind anybody that's watching us first, thanks for joining us. There are going to be some question and answer possibilities at the very kind of the last couple of minutes. So if you've got questions or something like that, feel free to start submitting those so that Charlie and I have got a couple minutes to eyeball them. You know, the other thing, dude, that you've done for the dairy industry is you've exposed a lot of non-farm consumers that had predisposition about what agriculture was like, what was farming like, what was dairy farming specifically like. All those views, all those likes, all those people that have listened in. Tell me a little bit, you and I have talked about this before. Social media can be great and it can be sour. How have you seen your audience change or understand or give you feedback when you've featured some of the dairy farmers of Wisconsin vignettes?
Yeah, there's been it's been mostly positive, and there's always a few negative things here and there, and you do that with any kind of video, but mostly it's been positive, and I think people appreciate just getting a little bit of insight on where their food comes from. You know, these days we're so disconnected from that, but to just see how things are done and yeah, I don't know, just see how much fun people have doing it. And I've had a lot of people reach out saying, you know, that they want to get into it themselves. I usually I direct them to you a lot, Pam. So sorry if you've gotten a lot of those messages, but
I'll just make it up.
Yeah, right. But it's cool to see that, and then also to hear the stories about people who have had a farm in their family for years and years, and this is how they do it and everything. But it seems like just a lot of great engagement has been going on. Everybody seems to have a story. Obviously, living in Wisconsin, you know, we're surrounded by farms, but especially for those kind of in the suburbs and in the cities, that's where a lot of the feedback has been from, like, oh, I never knew this was how cheese was made, as simple as that is. Or I had no idea that, you know, you could recycle manure in this way. You know, stuff that seems weird when you first say it, but then when you see it in video form, you kind of, you know, you get the story behind it.
Right. And, you know, I'd like to believe that you've had people that had negative connotations about the dairy industry before they saw a lot of your materials that changed their tune.
Yeah, and I think, you know, in every industry, it's there's good and there's bad, and but if you just go and say, no, this is a bad thing, or because you heard it once in a news story, you're not really diving in and getting into the gray areas. Yes, it doesn't matter what the industry is. You will have players that do it poorly, and you will have players that do it well. But to write off an entire industry because of a misunderstanding of, like, an article you read once, that's not really fair, especially to the people who put in so much hard work and care very deeply about the land and want to treat it as best as possible, you know? And yeah, and I forget who I was talking to about this specifically, but they were saying, you know, that the nice thing is when you can be good in business and you can be successful on the business end of it, you can invest in even better and you know, environmental stuff. Right. So there's so much that we can do, but being really negative about an industry, that doesn't help anyone, because it needs that innovation. It needs to get that money coming in to bring the innovation in, to my understanding.
Yeah. Well, and that's what it's all about, is just kind of continuing the conversation, which we'd like to continue the conversation with you. If you've got questions out there, we appreciate you joining us. As I understand it, you can type it in. Charlie and I will get a chance to see it, and so will others, and we'll see what we can field as far as questions. And you talk about sorting yarn. I would stick with the yarn career, because what people may or may not see, I don't know if the camera allows for this,
Oh, it
but
allows.
in my segment, Big Spender here did a lot of time. You lecture your kids about their homework. I hope you've got a better student than a Charlie Behrens art student.
Pam, I don't know what you're talking about. That microphone is dressed like a cow.
Yeah.
And it was a Craigslist find. Perhaps I doctored it up a little bit with some paint.
Perhaps. See if
Okay.
it comes off on my hands this time.
You know, spray paint is tough. You got to get the right spray paint for that that texture. Yeah, I didn't sand it first, so it wasn't.
That's the key. That's the key.
Always sand the microphone before you spritz it a little bit, you know.
So talk to me a little bit. I wanted to ask you this when we were doing kind of the warm-up. You're like me. We didn't get in this business to be doing everything as a floating head and virtual. It's all about the people. How have you had to pivot? How have you had to still try to keep things rolling with Manitowoc Minutes, Cripes Cast, and the rest of your projects?
Sure. Well, you know, I had a bunch of shows that got canceled, probably 70 shows or something, probably more than that now. But because of that, it's really been doubling down on virtual. You know, in this time where I wasn't touring, that's when I started the Cripes Cast, which has been a great avenue and outlet to have, you know, some more serious conversations. I also ended up recording that album, and that was a ton of fun because I've always been interested in music. So it's just been time to explore creatively and to try and, you know, also make a lot of different comedy videos and listen to, like, kind of get a vibe of what people are going through and make content to reflect that, you know. There's so much craziness going on today, but just trying to listen to it and then find something to make people laugh or that they can laugh at. So that's it.
Yeah. And now you were telling me too, good Lord willing and the creek don't rise, you're hoping to be kind of back out again maybe as soon as this fall, huh?
Yeah, I think that maybe when the tour can come again. Now, you know, we'll see what happens with all the vaccine situation and whatnot. But yeah, that's what I'm hoping for. How about you? Have you found a way to, or have you felt like there's been positives that have come out of this, or are you still?
Oh, sure. It's my nature, honestly, despite how you and I horse around, it is my nature to try to find the better side of the situation. And I'd say, you know, just people helping people, and farmers have always done that. You know, that we always do that. When the fire goes, who's the first ones there? You know, the potlucks. And I mean, you know, your audience is really the people that I grew up with. And so, yeah, there's some good stories that are coming out of it. Some tragedy, but some good stories too. We've got a couple minutes left, folks. We have to be one and done by top of the hour. So please feel free to submit your questions for Charlie Behrens, Manitowoc Minute, Cripes Cast, however you know him. I know him as a pest. And we'll try to see what we can do to answer them. This is a nice one. I like this from Lauren. If you could be any variety of cheese, what would you be and why? Now, I should answer it for you because I've got a quick one. It'd be Limburger, and I think the entire viewing audience knows why I would suggest him as Limburger.
Wait. That's really what you're going to say about me?
It's unique.
I thought you were
it's
saying
unique
you were gonna be
only in
Limburger.
Wisconsin. Only in Wisconsin. It's unique. We have the only Limburger cheese manufacturer in the United States.
Yeah.
It's a tradition. It's heritage.
What
Oh,
else?
and then there's that smell.
Yeah.
You have an acquired taste.
You know what?
All right,
I'm
what
gonna
kind of
take
cheese?
that. I'm going to take that. I like it. I'm going to own that.
Oh, come on. You've
Oh,
never
you want-
considered.
Am I supposed to say what cheese I am or say what cheese you are?
No. Say what cheese you are. They are all about you. I'm old news. They want to know they want to delve into Charlie Behrens' brain. What kind of cheese are you, Charlie, and why?
Well, I would say I'm Gouda because I'm real good, or I'm Swiss because I'm holy, or I'm that's all I got.
I was going to say,
Give me
let's
something
move on.
I'm no, yeah, let's move on. I'm out of puns. I had a lot of better puns. I didn't come prepared.
So, another question. You talk about bad dad jokes.
Yeah.
How would you rate the sense of humor from the dairy farmers that you've come in contact
A
with?
lot of dad jokes. A lot of bad dad jokes. I love a good pun as much as anyone, and a good rhyme. But I would say the dairy farmers really get me on that. Just the general BSing is really what I love. You could sit there, a dairy farmer, and I feel this way about myself, to talk to a squirrel and have a full-on conversation, and that squirrel will be talking back eventually. Squirrel might say, "Will you shut up?" And it's like, chill, squirrel. Okay, I'm just trying to tell you how I feel about it. Jeez.
It's happy hour, folks. Like we said, you're supposed to be drinking. We should have been drinking.
I know. I left my beer on the other side of the room, so
I was waiting to see what you were sporting. So, speaking of beverage, the best drink that you consider to have with cheese.
Okay. Look, and I haven't put this in a video yet, but I do like, in a brandy old fashioned, I do like to get weird with the garnishes. Okay, so everybody's gonna go right into like a Bloody Mary. That's a good one with cheese, and that is a great one. But old fashioned, if you add olives and cheese to your garnish, a little sweet, a little savory, goes a long way. Okay.
In a brandy old fashioned.
Yeah. Don't judge me.
I'll have to tell Big Buck he's probably upstairs with the short glass now, getting ready.
Good. Yeah.
One other question here from Taylor. What is your favorite dairy product? How would you encourage other consumers to try that product? And kind of give them the positive message. Remember, it is all about dairy farmers of Wisconsin. Literally, that's why you're here with us today, for the years of dedicated being our ambassador, so to speak, to those non-farm consumers that don't know us except by a package. So what favorite dairy product do you think that more consumers should try and get the message about Wisconsin's dairy industry?
I'm probably going to go back to the cheese, because there's so many like really good, interesting like cheese, like stuff. I don't know. I'm not good at remembering all the different kinds I've tried, but if I were to do that, I would find a cheese, and then really, I think people are very interested in the story of where something came from. So if you can attach a story to the product, that's always good. And if it's maybe it's the location, or it's whatever there, and there's so much buy local stuff, and people interested in doing that and supporting the local farmers, and I think that's great. Whatever people's intentions are with that, I think that's great for propping up and really showcasing like artists. Honestly, I've eaten some cheese where I'm like, wow, that is an art form right there. So, and I think people like that. So I would attach a story to the product. I would say cheese, and I would just invent probably a story around it, and then see what happens. Or sometimes, honestly, the real story is better than anything I could invent.
Well, that's what I was going to say. The cheesemakers we've got in Wisconsin, you'll have to jump in the truck with me. That's always been productive for both of us. So last question, and then we're going to have to wrap it up, folks. What do you say to people that tell you they don't eat cheese?
I'd say, well, cheese Louise. I mean, let me tell you what. No, you don't have to eat coleslaw then either, do you? Good Lord, honestly, folks, if you're not eating cheese, you're halfway living. Okay, now, and I know that there are some of you with, some sort of medical deals, and I pray for you, because gosh darn it, you're just missing out on the nectar from the heavens. When the Israelites were walking through the desert and manna came down from heaven, that was cheese, okay? I read it in the Bible. Father Tom told me that. So if you're saying, Charlie, that's sacrilegious, Mom, no, Father Tom told me that. So that's what I says to you. And so, okay.
And yet another good story featuring Charlie Behrens in Manitowoc Minute. It is always a kick to visit with you, fella, and I appreciate it and wish you continued success on all your projects. Next time that you have to shoot a video at Lambeau, I better be first on the list to be alerted. That's not even funny. I can't even believe that you were that close to Pambo. We'll take this up at another time.
Pam,
Folks,
I'm sorry. I'm coming. I wanted to protect you. Lord knows where I've been, you know.
Folks, we appreciate you joining us. Hopefully that has been a little bit of a smile to your day, despite it being on a virtual platform. End of a great first day for the Dairy Strong 2021 conference. Back at it again tomorrow. And again, like we said, if you've never experienced this gentleman's creative work, please check out Manitowoc Minute on Facebook, YouTube. Cripescast is another podcast that you can subscribe to. It'll help pick up your day most genuinely. And like we said, we'll see him down the road, and he'll be getting her done. So, Charlie, thank you.
You are very kind, Pam. Thank you. Can't wait to chit chat tomorrow.
Absolutely. All right, folks, have a great meeting. Thank you again for joining us for this virtual happy hour, brought to you in part by Dairy Farmers of Wisconsin. Also, our additional sponsors today, Compeer Financial, and all the good folks that are helping to make the conference happen. Until I get a chance to physically catch up with you, or until we have a virtual chat, toast. Enjoy the rest of your evening.